Hello, everyone. And here I come straight from, well, our studio here at Turku Game Hub. Thank you, Daria, for the introduction. So yeah, once again, my name is Natasha. I'm, as a day job, running an indie game studio called MiTale. There's 17 of us here, and we are also looking for more talent to join. So we're a fully independent studio, and we have been having privilege to work with the quantum physicists, also on different kind of projects in the past. And here today, what I really want to discuss about is interactive storytelling. And no, I'm not having any slides because I want to have more of a discussion with you. So please do put your comments, put your questions in the Twitch chat, and our dear Daria will be giving me these questions and comments forward. So, besides running a game studio, I'm also teaching game design and game art at University of Turku, and my background is in more traditional art, meaning that my master's is in classical painting techniques, and then I did my PhD research in art history and museology. And then most people say, like, what are you doing in games? Well, that's a good question, as basically I have been a gamer my whole life, from like that was my exit from reality in so many ways, and kind of safe space to really explore various kinds of experiences, which games are all about. It's all about these interactive experiences and the emotional engagement. And why interactive storytelling is so close to my heart is, as a traditional artist, we have been taught to use the visual narrative of no matter what stories and things and like you want to give out there as an artist, regardless of the medium, really. But now we have really incredible tool, games, as interactive medium. So it's not anymore me, artist, giving out art out there, and viewers are having, you know, reactions to it. No, now viewers are active part of the experience. So in games, we have this whole dialogue between the designer, just to simplify for the sake of discussion, between the designer and a player. So it's not anymore that there is this, like in other mediums like movies, music even, and so on, that you have this monologue from the creator to the viewer. Now we have full immersive dialogue. And really what what interactive storytelling is all about is putting this sort of like audiovisual experience and emotionally engaging the players, why they should be actually caring about their actions, why they should be doing what they're doing in the game. Because when it comes to games, usually people still think that the only thing is really important, like as you know, like the coding, the visuals, and so on. But actually what it's really important is, how do you design this overall experience? So and this is where the storytelling is crucial. Now, the storytelling does not mean that you would have walls of text that someone has to sit down and read. Sure, there are games like that, and they are their own genre, and there's nothing wrong with that. It can be, it is also an art form on its own. But what I'm more referring here is that you're actually using the in-game relationships of your character with the other characters, the environment, the whole world building, the in-game relationships, along with environmental storytelling, that you are actually having this emotional engagement for the player to really care of what is happening there at that moment, or what's happening next, or being curious to explore this world further. And this is the job and the crucial thing of the game designer, especially for the interactive storytelling, is that you are having this bond with the viewer or user or player, to make it kind of very, very clear as an art, because games are art form. They are definitely more and more being part of also other industries, not just entertainment, but they're having a huge role in also other multidisciplinary projects and ways how we actually experience the world and how we learn and how we do things. Because another thing that it really gives a huge impact for us as creators is that as an interactive medium, you have right to create that world in a way that people can experience it in a different way, experience it the way that fits them the best. Because we are all different. It can also be literally your personal current mood. It can affect a lot of how you receive the information and how you react to things. So having ability that you have a system created in a game that you simply want to do things in a very, very personal way, like how you, like, for example, at the moment, you don't feel like, let's say, facing a big boss or doing some fight. You would rather explore, get more of the story, do something else, and still you are progressing in that experience. Another thing what is really, really powerful with the games as a medium is the act of learning. So why games have been really important in also learning processes, which are more and more, obviously, I mean, when you look around, our whole lives are nowadays gamified, especially the new generations. They're just using all this media also for acquiring different kind of skill sets and so forth. There will be even more of that. But what is really important with the learning here is that as accessibility, which I just mentioned, of how you want to do things differently, also we all learn and get that information that we want to keep, or what we need to keep in our minds, in a way that again fits us, because someone is better at learning things by themselves, meaning by doing something by hands or by reading by themselves, or someone to be read at or maybe shown like in practice and so on. So many ways of learning takes place, and we are all differently getting that information. So which once again, games are allowing this variety of methods that one can use in storytelling. And as a creators, as a content creators, it is really for us crucial to get the player really to care about the content. It doesn't matter what a perfect code and whatever quantum or traditional computer, whatever you're using, or how fancy effects you have, none of that matters if the player doesn't know what's happening, if the player doesn't care. So please always go with the player-centric approach in designing your game experience. And why should, so just ask yourself, why should player care? Sure, this looks cool, but what's the point of it? Why? why would they want to go through this? And that action actually has a reaction. So there is like, why something happens, there has to be a purpose. And as I mentioned just a moment ago, why games are so good in teaching is when you think about any game out there, from the mobile simple idle game to, you know, MMOs and strategy games and whatnot, each game is on getting the player to that world. So introducing to the whole world, including the ways what is good, what is bad, what you can do, what you cannot do, like all these rules and all the ways how this world works is being introduced and taught. And what happens also is that because of this emotional engagement, player really cares. And then what happens next is that the failure, when you think about the failure, that's kind of what failure is really, is that they want to come back, they want to do it again. They want to, for whatever purposes and again, motivations, can be just, you know, kicking friends' score. It doesn't have to be anything more complex than that. But there is a meaning why someone is doing something, why, and that caring is really important. So always design with the player in mind. Nobody else, that's not for yourself and what you think is cool, but really what would the other, because it's all about the players. That's all. So overall, make sure that you use this medium to really tell whatever kind of story and things you want to do, and inspire others as well in that journey and in that discovery throughout the game that you're making. So thank you so much for having me here. And it's always a pleasure to be part of also co-organizing global quantum game jam. Since I have been in this organization and the quantum game jam making since it started in 2014 already, so it's really many years. So thank you once again, and I will now lead back to Daria.